Hello, hi, good evening. How are you all doing? I am Swati Kulkarni, your host for the day, and today we'll be talking about thriller and fantasy book. But before that, have you been a part of this community yet? Haven't you been? Well, if you are not a part of this amazing community yet, then I guess you should click on the link right away and join. Firstly, talking about book reads is a community which connects all the like minded people who think about the books all the time, and we connect where we can talk about our favorite book, our favorite author, and everything about books. So, what are you waiting for? Just click on the link provided, and we can be a part of this super amazing community where we will be talking about books. And today, let's talk about one such genre which everybody find their interest in. That is fantasy and thriller. But what are we waiting for? Let's start up. But before that, I would like to call up my co-host for the day, Miss Rohini. Miss Rohini is also an avid reader who finds her genre into self-improvement. Hi Rohini, how are you doing?
Hello, Swati. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you.
So, what do you think about book reads firstly?
Actually, it's very good start, to acquire the knowledge. So, who have not started yet, I suggest them to start from now at least, as I have started very recently.
Right. Now, just the way how we like minded people about the books could join through the community, I guess it's important during the pandemic era, especially that we relive back the days when we used to sit back and enjoy about the books. And today we are here to talk about the thriller and fantasy book. Are you excited about it, Rohini?
Yes, yes.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's quickly call in our guest for the day, Miss Aditi Rao. Aditi finds her interest in thriller and fantasy books, and everything about coffee and books is something that grabs her attention. Hi, Aditi, how are you doing?
Hey Swati, hey Rohini, how are you?
Hi.
I'm doing good.
So, Aditi, tell us more about yourself. We are really interested in knowing about it.
Oh, thank you. So I'm a software engineer by profession, but as you mentioned, I like all things books and coffee. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, tell us about your favorite genre firstly. Like, we
Okay,
would be
so I like to read a mix of everything, but
Mhm.
if I have to pick a favorite genre, it's definitely going to be fantasy or a thriller. You know why?
True.
Because everyday mundane activities they just go on, right? But these fantasy books, these thriller books, they make you believe that you're a part of a different world. Like you get to travel so much through the books, and of course the mystery, the intrigue, the thrill of knowing what happens. It's really,
Right.
yeah, wonderful. That's what
Right.
interests me about this genre.
Wow, that's really good, I guess, because I personally started reading into getting more into books because I guess books are something which keeps us apart from the reality world, what's happening everywhere. So that's the
Definitely.
reason I usually pick up fiction. So
Hmm.
mystery and thriller and fantasy is something which is again beyond reality and somewhere we need a deep imagination to go into. So what really
Exactly.
sets this genre apart from the other genres out there?
It's really interesting. The books in this genre, especially the book which we are discussing, or any other book, good written mystery thriller book for that matter, is usually fast paced. So
Hmm.
it's very good for beginners because, and it is quite interesting. I mean, who doesn't like a detective novel or who doesn't like a detective show, right? So yeah, that's what made me pick it. First of all, it's very fast paced. Most of them medium to fast paced, right? And then there is so much of word building or character development, right? That's
Hmm.
something that interests me a lot. Like, how do people behave when certain things happen? What makes them behave the way they do? So, yeah, that's quite interesting.
Now, this brings me to a very, simple question. If you were to be
Mhm.
dropped in the soldier island, what would you do
Mhm.
to survive out there, or how would you react as a character, basically?
Okay. So I have read quite a few detective novels to know how that is going to end, right? So if you are stuck on
Okay.
an island with 10 people who you don't know, with no means of getting out, you know for sure that there is the chances of survival are, very minimum. So yeah, I mean, first of all, trust no one. That is for sure. That is
Okay.
one thing I've learned in detective novels, right? Yeah,
Okay.
you always need to be alert, on your toes. And yeah, you try to assess people, you try to find out who is doing what or why they're doing, and then stay calm. Yeah.
Right. Now, the reason why I asked about the
Mhm.
Soldier Island and the 10 odd people out here is because of the book we are going to talk about. So, before me
Right,
revealing
right.
out on it, why don't you try to, tell us more about this book and why one should pick up this book?
Okay, so this book right here, if you can see, I have the
Mhm.
series cover on here. So this book is titled "And Then There Were None." I mean, the title itself is quite interesting. But
Right.
yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite Agatha Christie book. Yeah, so basically the story goes like this. The 10 people receive a letter trying and calling them to a island called Soldier Island. Okay, so once they arrive, they realize that no, there's something wrong. We are not here for a vacation or the purpose that the letter had told them. Then they come across a nursery poem which is hung on the walls of each of their room. There is an actual poem, you can Google it. It's called 10 Little Soldiers. So, in that, every soldier dies in a mysterious or some kind of a setting, right? So,
Mhm.
soon they realize the first day when they arrive, they have dinner, and then the mystery is revealed, right? Some voice, some mysterious voice announces to everyone that each one present over there is accused of some crime that they have committed, but naturally they deny it. According to them, they are not guilty, and then they defend themselves and stuff. But the thing is, one after the other, the guests start dying, exactly how the premise of the poem is set, right? So this results in all kind of alliances and mistrusts and just pure mystery, right? So the question is, if all of them die and then there is nobody other than those 10 on this island, then who killed them? And what was the purpose of killing them, right? So when in the conclusion, when the police who come to inspect this island, they are like thoroughly puzzled. Like there is no one, there's no outside contact. This is set on an island called Soldier Island, where there is, there's no in or out way or transportation. So other than one particular boat or something like that, so nobody comes to rescue them. In a span of like a week, everyone dies. So that is the story basically. Okay, so in this, they have a superb conclusion. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite conclusions, wherein the reader understands all the connections and learns why the killer chooses them and how they die. And a distinct you form an opinion, and that the euphoria of getting stuff right or wrong, right? So this is one such story. It's such an amazing book. Yeah. If you are a
Wow.
mystery fan, then you surely have to read this. Or even if you're trying to branch out into, this genre, a best book to start with. I'm a big Agatha Christie fan, so yeah, this can be your first book before you try all her Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple series. Yeah,
Right. I guess that explains it all why I need to pick this book the next. But what
definitely.
really grabs your attention with Agatha Christie's writing out here, as in the setting or the plot? Is there anything that grabs your attention more than all?
Yeah, she has a very distinct style of writing. I mean, if you have read Agatha Christie, you know that her word building happens usually in one or two chapters, very less word building, right? Her main
Hmm.
focus is on the plot and characters. So the way she understands the human psyche and how, the best part about her is you have all the clues what the detective or whoever is solving this, like the killer, you have everything. and still, you can't figure out, literally you can't figure out who is the killer. That is the beauty of her writing, that's what draws me to her writing.
Wow, I guess that pretty much explains why, again, Agatha Christie's writing is, something very, very unique from the rest. And in fact, this
Definitely.
book is very old, and Agatha Christie herself is a writer who's not from, somewhere around this generation at all, like
Very
completely different.
true. I
So,
think it was in 1939. Yeah, this
right,
book was
right.
published in 1939.
Right. So 1930s is like we are right now in 2000s, in fact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from that 90s, initial 90s, in
Mhm.
fact, to this 2000. So what do you find like, more relatable to that era, or how do you think the writing of that era and this one might, match up?
Okay, so of course there are going to be some kind of,
Hmm.
difference of opinion because of the generational gap
Hmm.
and such. But the thing is that she writes about human, right? Human psyche, as I told you. That pretty much doesn't change, right? So if it's 1930s or even in
Right.
2020s, the character or the human nature pretty much does not change much. So yeah, that is one relevant thing. But of course,
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned, it was first published in 1939, and it has undergone a certain, changes in the title, and even some offensive racism, which was
Hmm.
normal back then, but right now, as we evolve, we realize, we point it out. So
Right.
yeah, that is one good thing, that the publication house makes changes,
Mm-hmm.
right? First, I think it was called Indian Island, or 10 Little Indian
Right.
Soldiers. That was a poem. But then
Hmm.
it was later changed to And Then There Were None. So yeah, that's good thing.
Right. Right.
Right.
Also, we have a question here from our viewer. Does reading
Mm-hmm.
inspire many to write? So, would you like to answer that?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Just a second. Does reading inspire many to write too?
I think it definitely does, because even when I read, I don't consider myself as a writer, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely when I read books, I would love to write reviews, right? So yeah, so I do think that it inspires writing, because when you see the flow, the writing style of your favorite authors, then yeah, definitely. What do you think, Rohini?
Yeah, I feel so. When you start reading so many stories, then you will get up your stories. Yeah, I should also write something what I know.
Exactly, exactly. Perspective matters, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that answers to Julian's question. Does reading inspire many to write too? Now,
Mm,
this brings me to a question that is, I mean, a lot of mysterious books kind of sometimes, not exactly depressing. I think that will be a wrong word. But,
mhm.
sometimes not everybody feels comfortable in this genre. That sometimes,
Right.
it's not so easy to, get know somebody being killed or read about a lot of brutal activities happening around, sometimes of that
Hmm.
sort. So,
And will
how do
not
you
be
think?
having, yeah, and will not be having patience to stop till the end. Okay, what
Right.
happens next?
Yeah, yeah, no, that is true. I mean, everyone has their triggers, right? So it's definitely better for any book in that matter. You can just go ahead and Google what are the trigger warnings, and just check out, if you're comfortable with the particular topic. And of course, reading is meant to be enjoyed, right? If you're not comfortable, you need to pick something else.
Right, right. So now, how did you get into this genre in particular?
I don't remember, but ever since I remember, I think I have liked reading, and
Mhm.
I am always very curious about stuff. So definitely, when there is some mystery, I am intrigued. Let it be a book or a movie or anything. If it has uh, any kind of mystery, then yeah, I'm game.
No, that's really good. And in this coming to this book in particular, I
Mhm.
think there is a TV series adaptation as well.
Yes, 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 yes. I
So
think.
what
Mhm.
you can continue.
Yeah, I think there is a movie as well as
Yes.
a TV series. Yeah, both of them. Yeah,
Movie is there.
yeah,
Movie
yeah,
is
yeah.
there.
Correct.
Right. So, what according to you is better, like reading a book, or when it comes to the movie or a series adaptation of the same book? So, what do you think can give a better experience? Because sometimes people find movie better, sometimes reading can, instill more imagination.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I am always partial to books, okay, because I have a vivid imagination, so yeah, that helps. But yeah, I think if you don't have the patience to, sit down and read a book, then definitely at least go and watch the movie or the series, because this is not only this book, but many adaptations, only they do adapt good books, right? So if you're watching that, you still consume that book, and yeah, if you don't have the patience or interest to read, then at least watch the series or the movies. That's what I say. But if you have the patience, definitely grab the book.
Okay. We have a question from Maitri, so
Hmm.
would you like to take it up?
Yeah, Maitri asks, is the thriller genre good to read when you hit a reading slump? Okay, so yeah, what I do when I hit a reading slump is usually pick up some Agatha Christie book or a thriller book, because I am biased towards mystery genre, right? So I want to remind myself why reading is interesting for me, and basically get out of that slump. So if you like mystery, then definitely thriller is interesting, because they are, as I mentioned, it's like a little fast paced and more of a plot driven than the setting or character driven. So yeah, they are quick and gets you out of a reading slump, surely.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that answers to Maitri's question. So, you spoke about Agatha Christie's writing again out here. So, is there any other book you would like to recommend our viewers out here? That they have to pick this book by Agatha Christie and know about it. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I do have some recommendations about different books. One other thing that I remember is Murder on the Orient Express. Okay, so that is definitely, if I have to pick some book after this one, then yeah, definitely Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile, or her first book, in fact, which inspired the Hercule Poirot series, is Mysterious Affairs at Styles, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So she was actually, it's a very interesting story about how she started writing these books. She was challenged by someone saying that, to write such a book wherein the reader has all the clues that the detective has, and yet is unable to solve the mystery. So
Okay.
yeah, that she took up that challenge and she started writing that. So yeah, it's that's good.
Right. I guess we also have another question. Okay, yeah, this is
Oh,
something we
thank you,
should take up
Veena.
seriously. We have two more sessions on different books. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you so much.
Right. So, talking about mysterious books, now that you've said you're more into thriller and fantasy type of
Mm-hmm.
books, has it any time happened like in the reality where you're having a routine day life, you face anything
Mm-hmm.
of this sort, and then you go back to the book, and it's quite often that we go into the book, whatever happens, then we try to fit it into the real life situation. So, has
Uh-huh.
that any time happened to you that you face something in reality, but you want to solve it in the book way? Like how they've solved it over there.
You know, I have been told by my family that I over exaggerate situations because I read a lot of mystery books. So yeah, that is one drawback, I guess. I am very suspicious sometimes. But yeah, yeah, that happens. That does
I
happen.
wanted to ask you that you do such things or what after reading such stories.
For a couple of days, if it's a really good story, it sticks with you, right? You start thinking as that character, So if the character is very suspicious, yeah, couple of days you tend to act a little suspicious. So yeah, I have been told that.
Okay. I mean, not anything related to this, but then as a child, I used to
Hmm.
watch a lot of CID, and eventually I got into that detective mode, and I'm like,
Exactly,
something is
right?
going so good at times.
Yeah, yeah. So that's that, but that's fun, right? And life
Yeah,
saving at times.
absolutely.
Thankfully, no such situation as yet, but yeah. But I am sure I'll be capable of survival.
Okay, but that doesn't make us feel that you should be dropped into the lonely,
Yes,
alone island.
exactly. No, no, no. I don't prefer that, but yeah, if situation arises like that, then yeah, I think I would be a little better prepared.
Okay. I mean, we'll have a different, completely, way of handling out things out
Exactly,
there, and
exactly,
that's
exactly.
something
You
really good.
you tend to, analyze everything, like overanalyze at times, but yeah, you do, have that process of analyzing stuff, because I read a lot of mystery, and I
Yes.
know that not everything is what it looks like.
Okay. Now, I mean, I know this is a very hard thing to answer for anyone,
Hmm.
but if you were to give our viewers or the person who's going to pick this book next from the shelf, 5 reasons that this should be their next pick, this
Okay.
book.
Okay. So 5 reasons. First one, if you're, someone who is interested in mystery or, intrigue, then definitely yes. Secondly, this is very interesting because all the deaths take place as exactly how it is mentioned in the poem or the rhyme, nursery rhyme, right? So, which is very difficult to set the premise according to the nursery rhyme on an island, right? So yeah, then if you cannot answer this question, 10 people die, you don't know how they die, then yeah, and nobody comes in, nobody goes out, and yet everyone is dead, and there is no indication of a suicide. Then who killed them, right? So definitely that would be the fourth one. And go for Agatha Christie. I mean, yeah, just blindly go for Agatha Christie.
Right. I guess that answers the major question why I should pick
Hmm.
this book next.
Yeah, definitely.
Rohini, would you like to add something more to this book or the conversation about this book in particular?
Actually, she answered all my questions, what all I had. Ki, how you doubtful you will be after reading such books and all. She answered
Hmm.
everything. Actually, we start overthinking and all that I
We
wanted to know.
definitely do.
Yes, yes. Everything
Yeah,
will be tested and analyzed before
correct.
going
That
there.
is true. That
Yes.
is true. Yeah.
Right.
So,
So,
have you read it, or will you pick it up after this now?
Actually, I'll just think because I'm scared of
Okay.
such things, and I can't wait for the end to. हाँ ये खत्म हुई तो रुकना. First thing I'll
Correct.
read the last page and come again to the
Oh,
first page.
don't do that.
I'm bad at waiting for such things.
No, I understand. I understand. Yeah. Yeah,
तो
yeah,
जानना है कि
yeah.
क्या होगा. That then for that
No, no,
movie is
no.
good thing कि movie अपने आप चलता
Yeah.
रहता है तो
3
we will
hours
get
में
to know in
खत्म
the
हो
end.
जाएगा.
हाँ.
Right.
No, at least we can't go
Right.
to the end and come back to the like thing.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Then at least watch the movie. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Then yeah,
Not
then
the
you
same
know.
thing, but
Uh-huh.
similar to this Hindi movie. Some
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not getting
okay.
the name, but similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
They will be called to some
Probably.
island because
Okay,
of
okay,
some
okay.
crime. So I'm not getting that name. I'm trying to
Okay,
recall
okay,
that.
okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then yeah.
I guess, yeah, most of the mysterious movies or the books have a similar setting, but again, when we observe in detail, that's when we get to
Mm-hmm.
know that, it's not the same, it's completely different.
Correct, correct, correct. That is true. It all depends on the details.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. So, could you tell us about the
Definitely.
detailing which Agatha Christie has, used in this book?
It is very detailed and very meticulously detailed, if I can say so, because there are 10 characters, and you need to make the reader, familiarized with why they are doing, right? Basically, that is the thing in murder mysteries. Like, why is it happening? Why are they behaving like this? What is their background? And for such a, small or a fast-paced book, for a reader to understand all the details so quickly, I mean, very, very detailed. Yeah, it's quite detailed. And in a
Okay,
good way, like, yeah.
right, right. I mean, I think
Hmm.
there are, I mean, as a reader, we sometimes pay attention to a lot of these things, like the setting, plot, or the character.
Right.
As you said, there are like 10 characters. So some people might not like a lot of characters being jumbled up. But it's the beauty
True.
of the author, how he lines it up, and how he makes sure that we're not confused with who is who, and there's a clear picture of what's happening out there.
Definitely. I am one of those people who don't like, a lot of characters mixed together, lot of plot lines and all. I definitely don't like that because when I read, okay, I know the genre it's ironic, but when I read, I want to relax, right? So I don't want to, and I cannot read in one sitting. So, of course, you have work, you have everything. So I don't want to, when I get back to my book, I don't want to have to sit back and think what happened, okay, who is this now, and stuff like that, right? But yeah, that is one good thing about this book, that even though I don't like such things, there are 10 characters, and all these plots, all their plots, merge in the end, and it's really good. It's very satisfying.
The
Yeah,
satisfaction is what I guess matters the most. Let
very
it
true,
be
very
any
true.
genre, like there'll be a love story, they need to meet, or
I know
mysterious where we need to know who's the killer.
exactly. The end matters.
Right.
So only I
Now,
told I'll read first end and come back to the first page.
but I
Okay.
guess that kills the whole mood setting.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
patience.
I don't recommend that.
And I mean, it's again, everybody's reading style differs, but I think this
Yeah.
should not be the way. We have another question. Has it ever happened that you have related a particular character in the book the most, and did it affect you?
Okay. Not this book, but definitely, yeah, right? There are, when you read so many books, there will be one or the other character that you connect with, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely. So, did it affect me? I think in a positive way, because sometimes when you read a character, you see your ideal self, right? Maybe you're not in that particular position right now, but definitely when you see those ideals that you want to, I mean, yeah, that helps you, give that little nudge to you that, oh, you can also become like this. You can also do like this.
Right. And that answers to
Yeah.
Veena's question. We have another question from Saurabh. Any other authors comparable or similar to Agatha Christie?
Uh, uh, okay, so yeah, comparable, yeah. I mean, similar. These murder mysteries are all the same settings, right? I mean, you have a murder, and then yeah. So I don't know, similar to, but recently I read another book called The Silent Patient. Okay,
Mhm.
too good. That was Alex. I don't remember his whole name, but yeah, you can just Google The Silent Patient by Alex M. So I found that setting very similar to Agatha Christie. Not the setting per se, but the writing style. It
Mhm.
was really good. Like you have all the clues, and yet you don't know what happens in the end. So that was recently something that I read, which I really liked. I would recommend that other than Christie for sure.
I guess that should be something we talk more about probably, like because every author's writing style again differs.
Right, right.
Okay, yeah, we have it
Alex,
here.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. So probably we should talk more about this book and in particular thriller, fantasy, and mystery because again, it's somewhat like a magical world where you just need to experience what's happening, not something
Exactly.
based on reality.
Yeah, because it's, the setting usually in detective or mystery or thrillers is happens here, right? So when you go into fantasy or something like that, like The Hobbit or Harry Potter, it's like a imaginary or a magical world. Like it's not real. But when you read these mysteries, sometimes you feel, okay, this may be believable. Yeah, it's more
Right.
believable. Yeah.
I mean, as a child, at least when we read these kind of books, we
Mm-hmm.
blindly believed it. Like, let it be, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know something very
Right.
simple and vague, but something we
True.
related it. But as
I
we,
mean,
grow
hmm,
older, I think such kind of books again makes us believe that, we could have been a character in this kind of book and something we can experience or we want to experience, which can't happen, but
definitely. It's relatable. Yeah, and
yeah.
believable. It's kind of an escape mechanism, you can say, from the reality, you know. Definitely needed it during the pandemic.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
my favorite genre has usually been rom-com mostly, that is young
Hmm.
adults and fiction, because I'm not much into mystery and of this sort. So, is there any other
Okay.
genre which you prefer into apart from this?
So my genre ranking is like this. So first is murder mystery, and then
Okay.
there is fantasy, and then comes rom-com,
Okay.
and then non-fiction. But I'm trying to read more of non-fiction because yeah, I
Right.
mean it. There are some good books out there,
Hmm.
non-fiction, self-help,
Absolutely.
but yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Right. Now, this
Trying
word
to diversify.
self-help gets my attention to Rohini. I remember you saying that your favorite genre is again self-help and improvisation types. So tell us
Yes,
about
yes.
your favorite book there.
Actually, my favorite book is Think Like a Monk.
Okay.
Oh, I
It's a
have read.
self-help.
Real,
Yes,
real
yes.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good book. And first of all, Think Like a Monk is not a monk book. It is not about becoming a monk. Everybody has that perception कि think like a monk बोलने पे हाँ तुम्हें monk
Hmm,
बनना है. No, it's not about
correct.
monk. It's about how we have to cultivate our habits, how to come up with positive thinking. So
Mhm.
it's about all those things. And yeah, we have both monkey mind and monk mind. So that is all about that book. And it's about Jai Shetty. I love his shows. I
Right.
Yeah, I listen to his videos. So it's very
Podcast
inspiring.
also.
Yeah, yeah, every. So
Good podcast.
the small quotes written by him, whatever the things he says, it's very interesting.
Right.
So by seeing all those videos, when I got to know he's writing the book, so I thought
Mm-hmm.
of reading it because of Jai
Yeah.
Shetty.
Yeah.
Right. I guess Think Like a Monk is again, all about mindset. And anything about books can, it has a power to change our mindset or,
Mm-hmm.
bring us more towards the, positive thinking
Yes,
or
Very
yes,
true.
especially
yes,
which is required during this pandemic because reading
yes,
books
Yeah.
helps us a lot to escape the negativity or the negative vibes.
True, true.
And I guess on this note we can wind up with this show because I personally got a lot of learnings from this book and this genre because I didn't have much idea about it or about Agatha Christie or about this book. So it was great knowing about it. And I guess if we all, try speaking more about books, more about authors, for sure our perception towards a particular book or author or the genre will change eventually. And I guess any book is, I guess, the best friend which of ours. And books can escape any mood out there and set out a completely great and awesome vibe there. And so if you would like to be a part of this amazing community where we talk about books and only books, which can enrich our mindset and talk, and where we can learn new things, change our perception and also our mindset, because Aditi's favorite genre is thriller, fantasy, and mystery. So if you have, sometimes our opinions might clash with this genre or particular book. But I guess discussion is something which can help us knowing different perspective from different angle and everything completely different. Yet it has something called a link, a very thin string which is attached. That is the book and our love towards it. So ultimately, that's what matters, I guess. So if you want to be a part of this amazing book club, then what are you waiting for? Just tap on the link being provided, and you will be a part of this super community where we can talk about books. And next time you could join us in and talk to us about your favorite book, and we'll get to know more about it. And yes, that is for this show. Thank you so much, Aditi and Rohini, for joining in. I hope you guys had a good time because I personally love this conversation because really very, fun and nothing of that sort. That I first had a different perception about mystery and thriller, as I mentioned, and now I guess slowly I can try picking up one and try reading out. As you said, it's fast paced, so probably I can finish off one, and by next session I'll be like, can you suggest more mystery books?
Sure, sure. Thank you for having me, Swati. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Aditi.
you,
Thank you so
Swati.
much.
Thank you, Aditi.
Thank you so much. So you can also be a part of this book community, Book Reads, where we like-minded people can talk about books and a lot more as well. So just tap on the link provided, and you can be a part of the WhatsApp group. And catch you up next time. Until then, this was your host Swati Kulkarni signing off. Thank you so much.